So this is Engineering Statistics and Linear Algebra 18 EC 44. We are in the module 2. We have finished in the lecture 1 the bivariate CDF and the PDF. In the lecture 2, we have finished what is known as the bivariate expectation. In the lecture 3 part, we have done the bivariate transformation. Now we are going in the lecture 4, the Gaussian bivariate random variables. So in the Gaussian bivariate random variables, we generally consider, or rather we extend it from the single random variable normalized. Normalized when we say, then the mu what you call z will be equal to 0, and the sigma z will be equal to 1 whenever we say normalized Gaussian. Normalized Gaussian means mean is equal to 0 and the variance is equal to 1. Okay, this is rather a very important what you call thing which we should remember with respect to the normalized Gaussian. Okay, whenever we say normalized Gaussian, mu z mean will be equal to 0 and the variance is equal to 1. So we have seen that normalized Gaussian random variable for a single random variable. Okay, and extending it from there, so if we consider the z1 and z2 to be two bivariate random variables with outcome anywhere in the z1 comma z2 plane, where we have minus infinity to infinity as the range of values of z1 z2, the normalized Gaussian bivariate PDF is defined by the expression. This is the definition itself. There's no derivation for this, it is the definition itself. Okay, 1 by 2 pi root of 1 minus rho z squared exponential minus z1 square minus 2 rho z z1 z2 plus z2 squared divided by 2 into 1 minus rho z squared. So where this mod of rho z is 1, that means rho z is somewhere between minus 1 to plus 1. Somewhere between minus 1 to. You can write in the same way as this: minus 1 less than rho z less than 1, or mod rho z is less than 1. Minus 1 less than rho z less than 1 is equivalent to this itself. So if this is the case, the square root of this will be naturally less than 1 only. Okay, we need not write mod when we say squared, because whether rho is positive or negative, its square will always be positive. So therefore we will say that it's the rho z square will be somewhere between 0 and 1. So rho z square will be somewhere between 0 and 1 means root of 1 minus rho z square will always be greater than 0. Okay, 1 minus rho z square will be 0. So that means greater than 0 means this can take a value 1. If it takes a value 1, it will be equal to 0. If it takes a value 0, then this will be equal to 1. So again, this takes a value greater than 0, but less than 1. Okay, ideally speaking, this takes a value greater than 0, but less than 1. So we can now study this in detail. We'll try to find out whether this follows all the properties of the what you call PDF. Okay, probability density function has the properties there, and whether it corresponds to that. So if you integrate this with respect to Z2, whether we'll get the PDF for Z1. If we integrate this with respect to Z1, whether we'll get the PDF of the Z2. If you integrate for both the Z1 and Z2, whether we'll get the value equal to 1, and what is the minimum value of this and what is the maximum value of this, all that will give us the properties of PDF. So by inspection, we can clearly see that this is a value which is greater than 0 but less than 1. So we'll have the value 1 by 2 pi multiplied by some quantity, and this you can have here the value which is this minus this thing will give you the value minus infinity will give me the value 0, right? Minus infinity will give me the value 0, and this quantity of something less than infinity, less something less than infinity with a minus as the coefficient will always give you the value over here something greater than 0. So on the whole, this quantity will be equal to will be greater than 0, and that's what is indicated over here. F of Z1, Z2, Z1 comma Z2 is always greater than or equal to 0. 0 when the value here will be equal to minus infinity. If this is infinity, then this quantity will be minus infinity. E to the power of minus infinity will be 0. Okay. If it is something other than infinity over here, then we will have this quantity other than 0, which will be definitely positive, and this is also positive. So therefore, this will be always greater than 1, greater than 0. So greater than 0. So that will give us greater than 0 for all values of Z1, Z2 between minus infinity to infinity. Okay. So that's the first condition over there. Then if you integrate this, okay, between minus infinity to infinity for Z2, you will get the probability density function for Z1. Okay, we should get that. F of Z1, Z1 will be equal to integral of minus infinity to infinity, the PDF of the bivariate Gaussian random variable dz2. This should be true. Okay, this should be true. So to obtain this, what we try to do is you just substitute it in this, the whatever we have written over here. Okay, same thing whatever we have written, and then try to write it as a squared function. This quantity can be written as a squared function. To write it as a squared function, okay, we need to write here as, this has to be replaced by two different terms, one of the term being minus 2 z1 z2. So if we replace that by minus 2 z1 z2, the other term will be naturally minus 2 into 1 minus rho z z1 z2, so that we'll get ultimately this quantity. Okay, 1 minus rho z z1 z2 into 2 is what we should write, so that ultimately we'll get this value. Okay, so thus we can try to write over here two different quantities. This quantity is z1 minus rho z z1 whole square, or you can try to write it in a little different way also. That is, I can write here rho z, rho squared z2 squared. In place of this, I can write here rho z, rho z2 square, rho z2 z2 square minus rho z2 z2 squared. Two different terms I can write, not the other one. Okay, so for this can be replaced by rho z. No, you have already the rho z over here, so I can write the rho z z2 squared minus rho z, 1 minus rho z, z2 squared. Okay, so that at the end we'll get this quantity rho z squared. So this should be made a squared quantity. So if you make it a squared quantity, you will get it as z2 minus rho z z1 whole squared, and we'll be left with the quantity, additional quantity, which is over this here. Okay, e to the power of minus z1 squared by 2. Okay, we'll get e to the power of minus z1 squared by 2, because we will get the quantity over here. This quantity additionally we will get, and that will get cancelled, and hence we will get this. So this simplification you need to do over here. Somehow make this a squared term. To make this a squared term, we should write here, in place of z2 squared, two different quantities. One is, two different quantities which will sum up to be equal to this. One of them being rho z square z2 squared. Okay, rho z square z2 squared. The other quantity naturally should be, this, what you call, if I take out that, then naturally it should be 1 minus rho z square into z2 square. So 1 minus rho z square is already there here. That cancels with that, and hence we'll get this term which comes out, and rest of the term will become squared. Okay, rest of the term will get squared. So therefore, now if we do the change of variables, where we can write u is equal to, this total thing. Leaving the 2, this total thing if you try to write with a root, or rather u squared will be this quantity. U squared will be this quantity. Then u will be root of this quantity, leaving 2. Okay, so u is equal to root of this means square term will go over here and a root will come in this. So u is equal to z2 minus rho z z1 by 1 minus rho z square. So we'll have exponential minus u squared by 2 over here. Okay, and this will remain, the quantity e to the power of minus z1 squared by 2 as it is. And here again, this quantity will be once we write u over here, du, correspondingly du will be, again we need to find the quantity du. U is equal to this. So what will be du? Okay, what will be du? So here we have dz2 over here, right? Only with respect to z2 we need to differentiate, not with respect to z1. Z1 doesn't come into the picture because we have z2 over here. Okay, so du will be dz2 minus the differential of this will be 0 divided by 1 minus rho z squared. So this rho z 1 minus rho z squared dz2 divided by 1 minus rho z squared root will give you the value du. Okay, so this will go off, or rather this I should mix it with this, and that will be equal to du from here. If I take the differential of u, then I'll get the term dz2 by 1 minus rho z square. So that means this together with this will give me the value du, and this value will give me e to the power of minus u squared by 2. This will remain as it is. This will remain as it is. So I can take this to the denominator, then naturally, this is same thing as we had in the, what you call chapter 2. Okay, that will be the PDF. This is the PDF of the, Z1. Whether you have here X or Z or whatever, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, so f of Z1, f of Z1 will be equal to 1 by 2 pi e to the power of minus Z1 squared by 2 is the quantity which we have. So we have the PDF which is equal to this, right? So from that, we can just get the PDF of that. Because this quantity, what you call whatever we have over here is equal to 1. Okay, this value will be equal to, I think, root of 2 pi. We can go back and check what this quantity will be. Okay, if you integrate it totally, the quantity which we will get it as this quantity will be root of 2 pi. Okay, root of 2 pi. So once we get root of 2 pi for this, because 1 by root of 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity e to the power of minus u squared by 2 will be equal to 1. Okay, 1 by 2 pi. We can go back and check in the module 2, whatever we have written there, and check that will turn out to be the quantity which we have. Okay, so the integration of the PDF for the whole of the range will be equal to 0. If you take the Gaussian, I think we should go for Gaussian distribution. Okay, we can take it directly from here itself. Okay, so if we can take it directly from here itself, right? Say if you take this itself, right? If you integrate it both sides minus infinity to infinity over here, we should get a value equal to 1. If you integrate this on both sides, okay, we should get a value equal to 1, because integrating from minus infinity to infinity, the whole of the what you call PDF will give me the value equal to 1. Okay, in the whole of the range, I'll get equal to 1. So if that quantity is equal to 1, integration of this is equal to 1, only this integration will be root of 2 pi. And that is what we are trying to substitute over here also. Okay, so root of 2 pi. If you get root of 2 pi here, then we have 2 pi here. Root of 2 pi and 2 pi means, we'll get in the denominator root of 2 pi itself. And that is what we have here. In the same way, by integrating this, what you call with respect to Z1, both sides with respect to, what you call, not this, but rather the expression over here, integrating this from both sides with respect to Z1, I'll get f of Z2. Okay, PDF of the Z2. And that will, if you simplify on the same basis, similarly, we'll get 1 by root of 2 pi e to the power of Z2 squared by 2. Okay, e to the power of 1 by 2 pi e to the power of minus Z2 squared by 2. And if you integrate each one of this, okay, within the interval minus infinity to infinity, we should get a value equal to 1, because PDF integrated in the whole of the range, whether it is this or this, okay, either way, it will be equal to 1. And each one of this is nothing but the double integration of the two-dimensional PDF, or bivariate PDF. Okay, so the bivariate PDF integrated between minus infinity to infinity with a double integral with the two different variables Z1 and Z2 will be equal to the single variate PDF integrated with between minus infinity to infinity, whether it is Z1 or Z2, all that will be equal to 1. Okay, all that will be equal to 1. So therefore, the 3.12 is satisfied. 3.12 is satisfied. So this gives us that the condition for the two-variate random variable, if you integrate the PDF, it should be equal to 1, and that is what is 3.12. 3.12 is integration of the bivariate PDF is equal to 1 for both the what you call random variables. Okay. So thus we are getting all the proofs, the range of values of the what you call PDF is greater than 0, and we are getting here that if you integrate it once, the quantity which is given over here will get the PDF for the other variable. Okay, and also if you double integrate this, the value should be, area should be equal to 1 under the curve. That's what it means when we integrate it. If you have two variables, then you need to do double integration in the whole of the range. Then we will get the value equal to 1 again. Okay, and thus we can say that the PDF equation, whatever we have got, has all the properties corresponding to the PDF. Okay, so now we have the mean and the variance of the random variable Z1, Z2 as E of Z1, E of Z2 equal to mu Z equal to 0. So we have considered here that we have considered here the normalized Gaussian random variable. All these equations are for normalized Gaussian random variable. Okay, bivariate. Okay, so in that case, we have the normalized Gaussian. Therefore, normalized means mu Z is equal to 0, and sigma Z will be equal to sigma Z square will be equal to 1. Mean is 0, and the variance is equal to 1. So we can extend this where we take a normal, leaving the normalized case. That means a non-normal Gaussian bivariate random variable, we can extend it. So before going to that, we can consider the correlation also. So correlation will be with respect to two different, again, random variables Z1, Z2. So that can be written as integral of minus infinity to infinity, again another integral minus infinity to infinity, Z1, Z2, F, Z1, Z2, Z1, Z2, dZ1, dZ2. Okay, so if we take expectation of only what you call a single variable, it will be integral Z1 f of z dz, but two variables will be double integral of Z1, Z2 with the PDF being written there with respect to the integration of, dz1, dz2. Now, again, we can substitute this for the bivariate, whatever, PDF we have. We can substitute from the equation which we have written here as 3.63, right? So if you try to substitute there, then again, we can try to rearrange them and try to get the value, okay? Try to get the value, and that turns out to be, you can just write like this, and further to that, by using the change of variables of 3.64, again, same thing, we will get it, like this. So at the end, the, using the 2.54 and 2.23, 2.54 and 2.53 are the values which, we have considered here. Okay. So these two equations, 2.54 and 2.55, right? If we consider those, right, 2.54 and the 2.23, 2.23, again, we need to go back one step. 2.54 we have written over here, right? That is the mean is equal to 0. 2.23 is what we need to go back and check. Yes. So we have this over here. If you use that, then we are going to get again, right, the quantity which is over here. And this will give us, again, this integral 1 by root 2 pi multiplied by the integral over here is going to give us the value 1. And that will give us E of Z1, Z2 is equal to rho Z. So what does it give? It gives us that correlation is equal to the correlation coefficient. Okay, correlation is equal to the correlation coefficient under the condition that we have normalized Gaussian random variable. So normalized Gaussian random variable means that the mean is equal to 0 and variance is equal to 1. Okay, so in this case, we can, we can see very clearly that E of Z1, Z2 is equal to covariance of Z1, Z2, that is equal to the rho Z. Because again, we can try to write what will be the covariance in terms of the, what you call, correlation. Correlation and covariance are related, we know that, and we can try to write the covariance of Z1, Z2 will be equal to expectation of Z1 minus mu Z1 multiplied by Z2 minus mu Z2. Okay, the covariance of this will be the expectation of Z1 minus mu Z1 multiplied by Z2 minus mu Z2. Mu Z1, mu Z2 both are zeros. So that means covariance of Z1, Z2 will be equal to the expectation of Z1, Z2, that itself is the correlation. And that will be equal to rho Z itself. And that is only under the condition that the what you call, we have normalized case. Normalized case means mean is equal to 0 and variance is equal to 1. This condition is true only when we have the mean equal to 0 and variance is equal to 1. Okay. So if we don't have the, what you call, normalized Gaussian bivariate random variable, then we need to do some changes. So whatever results we have considered till now are for normalized Gaussian bivariate random variables Z1, Z2, where mean is equal to 0 and variance is equal to 1. and the correlation coefficient is equal to rho z, and this correlation coefficient itself is equal to the correlation as well as the covariance in the case where we have taken normalized Gaussian bivariate random variable. Okay, but however, if we do not consider the case of normalization, or if it is not normalized, okay, or it's a more general case, then we write x1 as rho z1 z1, rho x1 z1 plus mu x1, and x2 is equal to rho x2 z2 plus mu x2. Okay, so x1 will be equal to the what you call standard deviation multiplied by z1 plus the mean. Okay, similarly x2 is standard deviation of it multiplied by z2 plus the mean. Okay, so this is a more general case. So in this general case, the mean and the standard deviation of x1, x2 are shown explicitly in the equations. So the mean is written here for x1, standard deviation of this are mentioned over here. Okay, definitely the variance will be squared of the standard deviation. Similarly for x2, the mean is mentioned over here, the standard deviation is mentioned over here. Okay, now Z1, Z2 over here, Z1, Z2 over here corresponds to normalized Gaussian bivariate random variables. Okay, Z1, Z2 are normalized, whereas X1, X2 are, more general cases. Okay, more general cases, right? So if you take that, then the covariance of X1, X2 will be, I need to take the covariance of X1, X2 will be, expectation of x1 minus mu x1 into x2 minus mu x2. Remember that now mu x1 and mu x2 are no more equal to zeros. They are not equal to zeros. So now I can write, from this equation, the value of x1 minus mu x1 will be equal to sigma x1 into z1, sigma x1 into z1 multiplied by sigma x2 into z2. Okay, we are just trying to substitute for x1, x2 from here, right? So we are left with sigma x1 z1 into sigma x2 z2. That will give sigma x1 into sigma x2 multiplied by z1 z2. We can take out the sigma x1 and sigma x2 outside, and we are left with e of z1 z2. And this quantity is the what you call correlation of z1 z2. Correlation of z1 z2 just means z1 and z2, please remember that they correspond to the normalized Gaussian bivariate random variable. So the value for this is rho z. The value for this is rho z. Okay, so covariance of x1 x2 will be sigma x1 sigma x2 into rho z, right? So using the 3.44, we see that the transformation 3.72 and 3.73 leaves the correlation coefficient unchanged. So we will have the correlation coefficient will remain unchanged. So we'll write sigma, the rho x1, x2 is equal to rho z. Rho x1, x2 is equal to rho z. So this rho z will be equal to the rho x1, x2 itself. So if a different correlation coefficient is required, then the more general transformation in the 3.46 and 3.47 are necessary. Okay, 3.4, we need to consider the what you call 3.46 and 47, which we studied in the last what you call lecture. Okay, the last lecture. So this will be the case. The general transformation leaving the correlation unchanged will give us this value. Okay, now we can go for the next topic, which corresponds to the independence and uncorrelated Gaussian random variable. However, before going to this, I'll just stop the recording